between two innings of cricket or two matches, there used to be a series of Videocon, Onida, the Devil ad, the Whirlpool ad, all of that would come. The moment that got over and the innings would start, so I'm sorry I had to do this physically. So my mom says I used to put my fingers inside my mouth, yank my mouth and cry. Get those ads back, I want to watch them. And I think I've never realized this. I think I've always had a innate love for advertisements and how they were a part of it. When I landed in Titan, I was horrible at my first project. I failed. I fell on my face. I was supposed to put up 9 stores in 9 months as a trainee project in Bombay. Trust me, I was bad. And I didn't. I put up half a store. Half a store doesn't even count. I put up half a store after 9 months of roaming around the streets of Bombay, not able to crack a single store to convert and open. And I said, मुझे sales नहीं करना है. मैंने marketing में MBA किया है. I want to be a marketing person. I do not want to do this. I want brand management. Give me brand. And I'm pretty sure you would have seen a lot of youngsters going gung-ho just about that. And if they hear sales, they just take a turn and run away.
Yeah. Alright, so here we are at another campus, and we are right now joined with somebody who has spent quite a considerable amount of time here in this particular campus, looking at the scenery that it provides and the kind of academic life it provides. I am joined with Kalyani. Kalyani has been part of TAPMI for their 2-year program. Kalyani, and what year was this when you actually were part of this?
2013 to 2015.
So it's almost been a decade since Kalyani actually came in here, and she was part of a program here, and we are going to understand her life a little better, her journey after what happened once she graduated from this B school. Welcome to TAPMI once again, Kalyani. How does it feel to be back here?
It feels like I'm coming back home. It doesn't feel any different. I was always fond of my 2 years here, and I think it's never going to leave.
Right.
Like it's a part of me.
Where exactly is your actual home, Kalyani? Where do you belong?
Fun question. My dad was a banker, so I've been in quite a few cities throughout my life. But most part of it, I was in Bombay. I'm a Mumbaikar from every blood cell in my body. And if there has to be any other city that I fell in love with other than Bombay, that has to be Manipal.
Nice to meet a fellow Mumbaikar in Manipal. How did you like the weather here?
It wasn't much different. It was pretty much the same as Bombay, but the humidity here fights with another rigor. So my curly hair never went straight ever here. So yeah,
Right.
I think that's what it is. The weather here was surprisingly good. The rains are a lot cleaner than in Bombay. It's a beautiful weather. So it's like you're first in the rains and then you move into a wonderful winter where you see the fogs across the entire valley. And when you wake up every morning and you're walking towards your lectures, it's another scenic beauty altogether.
Lovely. Kalyani, tell me a little bit about your growing up days. What kind of a kid were you when you said that your father was a banker? Was banking somewhere in your ideas?
Oh no. I'm very bad with money even now. I can't do finance to save my life. No, and I think I shouldn't be this vocal about it. I can, if my dad ends up seeing this video, he's going to cry. But I think somewhere he knows. Banking was never my forte. That is something that I always knew. I was a very restless kid, so I always had a lot of things that I was learning. Like with school, I would do a lot of dancing, singing. I'm a trained Carnatic music singer. I'm a ballroom dancer. I've learned skating for a bit. I've played throw ball at the college level. I basically was a very heavy extracurricular also kind of a girl. But then I was always a child who kind of, knew what I liked and what I did not. Not always where I wanted to go. So
Right.
that was never something that I knew. And I don't think I know it even now. Where am I headed or where am I going?
So what were you studying, and when did that MBA bug, bit you in the journey?
At the end of engineering, when it was my 3rd year or 4th year, I saw almost 60-70% of my batchmates already applying and received their acceptances from various colleges abroad for MS.
Right.
So I chose my engineering and I was doing electronics at that point. And through all the subjects that I learned, algorithmic thinking and coding was something that came naturally to me. And as always, I was the head of design there. I was the cultural committee member there. So it was like a mixed genre. So I was good at certain things in technology. I was good at certain things creatively also. So I kind of did not really know whether masters in technology was what I was going to land into, or was it something else.
Right.
So that uncertainty was always there, and I got my first placement with Deloitte. And at that point, I had a discussion with my dad, and I distinctly remember having this question with him. I go to him every time there is a loggerhead. And dad also categorically never told me, go for this or go for this. Dad came back and he told me, beta dekho, if you study right away, you'll get a jump start to your career.
Right.
And you do not have to justify your break by any means on any interview wherever you go from here on forward. But if you take up a job, yes, you will understand how the industry works. And then probably, 2 years, 3 years down the line, you can take a call on what type of masters you want to do. However, you will face a difficulty going back to the book because you've lost habit of giving an exam.
Right.
Or sitting and studying or putting those rigorous hours in. I considered what my dad said, and personally, I think there is a inside joke that I share with myself. I think secretively, my dad wanted to make the other choice, not the one that I actually made. So I ended up taking the job that was there at hand, and that's how the first job happened for me. And I don't regret it one bit, because I had no clue what I wanted to do my masters on. I would be following someone else's viewpoint, or just because some other friend had done something, I would have taken it up. MBA bug hit me when I was in Deloitte. Once I was in Deloitte, I was working, most technology roles that we were getting post-engineering back in 2010 and 2012 were mainly oriented to, a technical requirement would be given, you build a code, you deliver.
Right.
Deloitte was a company with a difference. They told us, this is the business, this is the functional gap they are facing, this is what we are trying to improve. Your code will sit here and improve this for the company. And they gave me that visibility, and I saw what was the technical aspect and the functional aspect that you're going to see. And when you keep working that way, right, the business part of the angle keeps, coming back to you.
You kept mentioning that you wanted to do something creative, and did you do something creative after coming in here, or and the big bad MBA world sucked you in to its numbers and the placements and assignments that follows?
Creativity is not stuck just in painting or drawing or dancing. And this is what my dad always said, and I never, ever, before this interview, never, ever agreed with him, because I thought creativity was doing colorful things like dancing or arts or designing or video shooting or advertising. That's creative. Let me tell you, the big bad MBA world, if you're not creative, you can't survive, because you need to be creative even if you're in finance. You need to be creative even if you're in marketing or HR, because every single role will propose a problem that you've never seen before. And creativity is just that, coming up with a new solution in an interesting manner. That's a win-win for that particular situation. So yeah, the big bad MBA world did not suck me in anywhere. I'm very much the same creative person that I wanted to be.
Lovely. Kalyani, seems like you completely enjoyed your 2 years here.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think I had a particular FD that I had saved from my 2 years work ex that I did not touch. I took my dad's pocket money till the second year, and the moment second year hit, placements were nearing and placements were happening. Once the placement was done, I blew up my entire savings. I didn't hold back. I saw all the scenes that this belt had to show.
That's exactly where I was coming to, Kalyani. Placement is a very important part in a student's life. When you were also going through that placement process, what were the kind of things that you were thinking in your mind? Was the Tata Group always in the back of your mind that you wanted to get into, or that happened just because serendipity?
It wasn't serendipity. I mean, that, okay, I'll have to tell you how I became a marketing enthusiast for that story. So, when the brief about the stock came to me, and, around about the kind of conversation we were going to have, pushed me to think about, when did I actually start liking or falling in love with marketing? I'll tell you what, you'll be surprised. Even I was surprised at the answer. My mom says a story about me when I was about a year and a half old. Between two innings of cricket, or, two matches, There used to be a series of Videocon, Onida, the Devil ad, the Whirlpool ad, all of that would come. The moment that got over and the innings would start, so I'm sorry I had to do this physically. So my mom says I used to put my fingers inside my mouth, yank my mouth and cry. Get those ads back, I want to watch them. And I think I've never realized this. I think I've always had a innate love for advertisements and how they were a part of it. And being a 90s kid, I mean, it's a thing, 90s kids have a very hold their advertisements very close and near to ourselves.
I agree.
So that is how I think my love for marketing and things came, and it just became stronger when I came to Deloitte and I looked at different FMCG companies and the kind of business issues that they were giving for technology solutions. And it just kept intriguing me as to how is technology playing a role in something like marketing or a business to run, right? So all of these, kept building. And, when placement started happening, who wouldn't want to be a part of Tata? Yeah? Come on, every marketing kid's heart just sings that, every time it beats that symphony of the Titan Symphony just plays along with it across you. I mean, it's impossible you're a marketing grand and you don't love that music. So that, of course, was in my back of the mind. Like it was there as in Titan mila to life ban gayi types. But then it was just Titan mila to. I was one among the batch of 500 people with a group of 20-25 hardworking batchmates of mine who were working day in and day out trying to get as many business opportunities or companies that we could be a part of or at least build a career from. And today, I think a lot of my batchmates are exactly where they envisioned themselves to be, or like me, nowhere close to what they thought they would end up at, and they're completely elsewhere, right? So Tata Group, while it was there, it wasn't the only company that I was working towards. I was one among the last 25 to 30 people to get placed out of a batch of 500, 550. And by the time, Titan happened, I was lucky. In fact, I was also one of the people who had a live project that I had done in my first year with Tanishq. So Tanishq had come down and they had given me a live project, and we were a group of 25 people, and we did the project of analyzing the Udupi market for one of their businesses. What stuck with me and why I really wanted to be a part of Titan there on forward, or at least a company that behaved like Titan, was after the project got over, I went into my summer internship and I did not hear back for about 2.5 months. And one morning when I was leaving for my internship, I got a message from my project guide, who then went on to be one of my bosses at Titan and a very close friend today. He says, "Congratulations, Kalyani, your project has gone live." So what I wanted was a job that got me very, very good marketing learning, a group of people that I got to work with that are going to be, who have this kind of sensibility of gratitude towards no matter how big or small is the person who worked with you. You could always go back to them and say, "Hey, you did a good job, thank you."
Right.
So you can imagine, last 25 people in the batch, 5 of us shortlisted for the final interview, shipped all the way across Bangalore, and having prepared for almost about 6 months, the pressure was immense. Like I was like, "Ye nahi mila, to then what do I do with my life?" kind of a thing.
Right.
And a week after that, we were still waiting for results to come, and I came back. I said, "Okay, let's put on the coat one more time." I was yet not placed, right? So I put on the coat one more time, and I was walking up these lovely hilly areas of Manipal, coming to this very block to give one more interview. And that's when one of my closest friends, even today, she came running in the opposite direction, yelling my name and saying, "Kalyani, Titan happened." And it didn't register. Like I was like, okay, I'll go finish Z and come. And I'm like, "What?" Like, no, I have another interview. I'll just go give it and come. I'm like, "Kalyani, you're done. Titan has happened." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then it started sinking in. It was like a very gratitude moment. And the first thing I did was head to the canteen, pick up chocolates and go and distribute it to the place-com. Because they were relentless. They were relentless in trying to get the kind of profiles that we wanted and at least ensure that we placed. And a few short weeks after, I think we all celebrated our entire batch being placed.
Kalyani, I have to be very honest here with you. I've heard so many of these stories. Very few stories actually got me goosebumps. The way you defined this, because it's important, and sometimes we don't understand this in our journeys, that people reach to certain places after so much struggle. We think that it's a key that you have, that you are doing an MBA and you're supposed to get a very good job in your life and you were settled and everything. But somebody who is in a situation like yours, who has spent these 2 years, who has spent a considerable amount of money, and you are seeing that your future you can't see because you are not pleased yet and you don't know what to do next. And from there, how do you manage yourself and take yourself out from that situation, from that rut, to believe in yourself once again, and getting up to do another interview is
It's
where
not easy,
the
Paul.
strength
It's
is.
really, really not easy. And it has happened not once, not twice. It happens to me way more often than I can describe. But then, more number of times I go into these, the more number of times I seriously, severely believe that, the key is not about, I'm a very impatient person, by the way, but life teaches me patience this way. So I want my solutions yesterday. Like that's how I work whenever I work. But then, it's taught me that the right things for you come whenever they want to come. You cannot dictate that. You really don't have a control of it, and you can neither blame it on your circumstances or brands or people that you're with. You can never blame it on them because it wasn't meant for you and it shouldn't have come to you at all in that particular time or space. And if you skip the line, it kind of has a way of telling you, hey, you skipped the line, now here's your punishment.
Lovely. So what happened to Kalyani, who got out of the comfort of a B school, probably the life that you were leading, and going back to a corporate life? Did Titan feel corporate to you? What was the first kind of projects that you were handling out of the B school, and what were sort of the challenges that you faced in the world outside of the B school?
I was horrible at my first project. I failed. I fell on my face. I was supposed to put up 9 stores in 9 months as a trainee project in Bombay. Trust me, I was bad. And I didn't. I put up half a store. Half a store doesn't even count. Okay, I put up half a store after 9 months of roaming around the streets of Bombay, not able to crack a single store to convert and open. And you exit an MBA college thinking, this is it. I've arrived. This is what I'm going to reach out to, and this is what I'm going to do. Tomorrow I'm going to become the CEO of the brand. Hello, reality check. Market there is horrible. Whatever you have learned is going to give you the strength and the commitment and the discipline to put your head down and keep working towards an end goal. Whether the end goal happens or not is not under your control. But although it was that bad, and in fact, I remember very distinctly, I had a beautiful mentor during those phases. Like I used to be this little chirpy kid jumping around everywhere, trying to keep myself happy and like pepped up to get the role going. And my boss once saw me very, very silent at that point, and he was a wonderful mentor. And even today he is my mentor. Like if I'm stuck, I go to him. He ended up coming and just sitting with me, and he just said a very simple story of how many times had he had to try to convince people to open the store, which is one of the biggest Tanishq outlets today in the country. And he just left me with that story and he walked away. I mean, it's just a pure blessing that when you're down and low, you get people like that. And quite a few number of years later, when I moved into another role from there, is when I got to know that although I didn't deliver, and although they didn't know what I was going to be able to deliver, 3 months before that project got over, I had already gotten my placement as an ABM in a particular place.
Right.
So they liked the way I worked. It's not always about whether or not you achieve the goals. Sometimes even the effort that you put gives you results that might surprise you and give you opportunities that you didn't think you were going to get.
As an area business manager, as far as I know, you have to go to the last mile salesperson as well and go and talk to them. You have to manage a lot of stakeholders in the process. A young girl coming into this entire process, right? What kind of experiences did you have in your life? Did people take you seriously when you started off?
It was daunting. Forget about people, I didn't take me seriously. When I entered into my first meeting with the team, there was someone who got up and said, "Hi, I'm Murli. I have 35 years of experience in eyewear." And I was like, that's not even my age. There's the door, let me just run away. I'm just going. What I knew about eyewear is the fact that I wear contact lens. And you shouldn't read a fat book like Harry Potter lying down because it spoils your eye. That's it. That's where my eyewear knowledge started and ended. I didn't know anything. I didn't know technology. I didn't know the technicalities. let alone knowing how to manage people or work with people. And area business manager at Titan, mind you, the terminology is area business manager. It's not a sales manager. And I think Titan got it right. While other companies call it sales manager, ultimately what you do is you marry the right market with the right size of store, with the right business partners if it is required, with the right set of stock mix, the right marketing for the store, the right set of BTLs and ATLs that we learn and we do, with the right people who sell your product to the right set of customers who want your product. Right? And that comes from a very basic knowledge, which is called the 4 P's of Kotler. Correct? And people do not realize it. Like, I didn't realize it. I have to tell you, I went in kicking and screaming when they gave me ABM role. Because back then I didn't know they had finalized this even before I finished my first project. And I was livid because I wasn't asked a choice. I was just given the role. And I said, मुझे sales नहीं करना है. मैंने marketing में MBA किया है. I want to be a marketing person. I do not want to do this. I want brand management. Give me brand. And I'm pretty sure you would have seen a lot of youngsters going gung-ho just about that. And if they hear sales, they just take a turn and run away.
Yeah.
Like, nahi karna. I will not do it. It's not meant for me. Mind you, sales is no longer, going door to door and knocking on the door and telling the customer, buy my product.
Yeah.
Sales is everything that I just said. As an area sales manager or an area business manager rather, you get at least a minimum of 4 to 5 to 7 areas that are distinctly different that you need to manage. Come on, that's what you learn to do. You're a mini CEO on your own.
Right.
This, I think, if youngsters are going to see this video and they're looking at career choices, I would say take sales. Take it. I'm a girl. I took sales. I did the market grunt. I was in Bangalore. I was in Mangalore. I went into Mandya and smaller towns to see if market availability was there. I've met with really weird looking brokers for, availability. I know of women in Titan who did sales in tier 2, tier 3 cities, yeah. And trust me, when people from that background come into corporate offices and they start giving insights as to what needs to be done, they are heard more. They're given more respect, they're given more value, and they are irreplaceable in the system because you've been there, you've done it, you've seen it all. So when you say there is substance.
Lovely. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this transformation now from Titan Eye to Tanishq, the jewelry brand that we all know about, that we all have seen. What exactly was your role at Tanishq? Why did you think that it would be a right fit for you as a career option at that point in time in your life?
Second year, around the entry or the start of my third year is when I got married. And, I was barely having even one meal with my husband at that point. And it wasn't that I didn't want to continue in sales. It's just that I still wanted to be close to retail. I still wanted to be close to retail operations. I also wanted to have at least a few meals with my husband together if I could, because he was working 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. I was working 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. in the night. I mean, it's insane, right? You're just 2 people in the household and you don't even see each other. It's wrong. So that was one of my primary reasons why I wanted to switch. But one of the other career movements, when I thought about, okay, I knew I had to switch, I didn't know where. So when I thought about from sales, where do I go next? Eyewear was at a very interesting position at that point. We had told the world how to look at customers for business. When you decide to move, you have to see what options you have and what you're okay with, what's your option A, what's your option B, what's your compromise option. So that's what I did. So when I was looking at one of the options that I had, marketing was, I think it'll always be on my topmost option. Like, Mujhe ye karna hai. I want to be a marketing manager. Like the Kalyani Seshadri marketing manager of XYZ brand is like a dream card. I'll probably print out one card that I will frame in my house. But yeah, until that, can I keep gaining some experiences that will help me, a well-rounded person, to do justice to the role when it comes to me? And I said, why restrict? Titan has a plethora of brands that I can learn from. So I did apply for watches as well. There was an opening that got open, and simultaneously, Tanishq also had an opening in this role. And both very, very differences of industries.
Businesses.
So World of Titan and Titan Watches was, at the brink of doing something newer and modern. Like people still wear watches, it's just the definition of it has changed, and that's how it came in. And it wasn't a specialized structure, it still was a generic field, and I was still closer to retail, so it was okay.
Right. In the world of internet, in the world of increasingly buying becoming digital, do you see that, online taking over these stores that probably you are managing right now? Or do you see the Omni Channel always present for businesses like Tanishq that is being managed by you at this moment?
It'll always be present. Omni will always be present. Terminator is not happening. Terminator Genesis के बाद क्या आना चाहिए? Terminator Digital World is not happening. I'm sorry, that would have been very interesting though. It's not going to happen because of one very simple reason. No matter how many frames you might select online, unless you put it on your face, you're not going to like it, or you're not going to understand. No matter how many clothes you buy online, you will not fit into something that says, it's large or XL or small, and you buy it because that's the size you've been buying. But every brand has a different definition for large and XL and small. So there will be returns, there will be trials, there will be a touch and feel which will always be required in these businesses. So Omni is here to stay. It's not something that will be obsolete, and it's only going to grow stronger along with the brick and mortar.
Connected to that, what are some of the skills that marketers of today need to develop in themselves so that they are prepared for the world that's upcoming? Again, as I mentioned, the world is increasingly becoming digital, and you need to know, at least even if you're not working in that space, you need to know the nitty-gritties of that space. So where do you peg those skills to be, and what should they be?
I think a lot is to do with keeping yourself aware of what the customer is saying. Listen to your customers, listen to what they're saying. At the end of the day, it's what their demands is what is driving the money in and around the market and the economy. But while you're doing that, some of the skills that you can go along, picking up in order to listen more effectively is, the advent of how data is getting captured and being used across brands, across different, spheres. These are two major areas. Like, you listen to a customer, but you translate it into data, and you see where your gaps are and see if you can marry the two and come back to the customer and give it back to them. And like I said, every customer wants even a mass-produced item to be unique for them and fitting to their sensibilities. So I think that will be the constant chase that brands will have with customers' requirements and wants.
Kalyani, the sun is shining right now. There is an entire evening for you. I'm sure that your favorite spot of the sunset where you can enjoy that sunset is also around this campus itself. We will let you go and explore this campus because you have come in here after quite some time, I have been told. But I have one last question for you. Somebody who is in your shoes right now, a Kalyani who is probably stuck in a job, thinking about what to do next, how do I meet my expectations from my own life, and I want to do something in the field of MBA, what would be your advice to her?
Say yes and be patient. It's as simple as that. When an opportunity presents to you, it is important to do your research. It is important to do your homework. I did that a lot. I mean, I read up on TAPMI and I fell in love with TAPMI even before I came here. So I did that. I researched. So to someone who is actually looking for that, I really would like it if they did their research, did their homework, worked hard, and said yes when the opportunity presented, and then were patient for the opportunity to turn into something that they were always dreaming of. Because if you don't have a combination of good preparation, hard work, patience, I really don't see life being very rewarding or even an inch or a morsel supportive to whatever you're doing.
Lovely. Thank you very much for being so candid, Kalyani. I have to admit that I really, really enjoyed this conversation, and looking back at your life, looking back at the challenges that came in front of you and how you dealt with those challenges. It takes a lot of courage, rigor, passion to be at it, and I'm sure that people who are watching this will get to know a little bit from your journey and they can apply it in their lives. If you learned something from this journey, do tell us in the comments below how you liked the video. Do tell us if you have any questions for Kalyani and you want us to send it to her. If you want to know more about the institute that Kalyani was part of, there is a link in the description. Go check that out, and do share this video with whoever is looking for an option to their MBA questions. Thank you once again, Kalyani,
Thanks,
for
Paul.
coming in here all the way from Bangalore to here and sharing your journey with us.